What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We're two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time.
So, we have a very special guest on with us today. We have Candace, who is from the Indie Author Insider, and she's also the host of the Indie Author Insider podcast. So, we are so happy to have her. Welcome, Candace.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. I've never been the interviewee, so this is super fun.
It's different, right?
It is. I'm here
Like
for
on the
it.
other side. I love it. This is so exciting. I know we've been in touch with you talking, so I'm really glad we were able to get you on and kind of discuss. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I would love to. So again, I'm Candace. I am the host of the Indie Author Insider podcast, but I'm also an avid reader. I actually got started reading indie authors this year after having a really bad surgery that went kind of rogue. I had no idea what an indie author was before January of this year. So my life is kind of blown up in the best of ways. I not only read all the time, but now I get to work with authors every single day and with readers. I get to work with bookish businesses, you name it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, other than the fact that I love what I do and I can't wait to actually quit my corporate America job to where I can do this full time.
Yeah.
That's
American dream.
the best,
Yes.
right? American
Yes.
dream. I
Yes.
like it. Yeah,
So-
I actually didn't know what indie authors were either originally. When I kind of got back into reading, I was like indie authors, and I think I had to do a little research, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like independent. Okay, that makes sense now.
Right? Yeah, I thought that
I wasn't sure.
No, the first time I ever heard it, when I saw indie author, I was like, are they hippies? Like,
Yeah.
are they out in the field somewhere just flowing? I didn't understand. So same thing, I had to do it, and I was like, oh, independent makes sense. Yeah, okay, indie. All right, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I need to get more into these indie authors, and now I feel
Yeah.
like that's what Amanda. Do you think that's like all? That's probably one of the only things we read. I mean, we do read obviously other things in there,
Right.
but we really like the indie authors.
Yeah, I think TBR is so last 2020 because we're all into the arcs right now.
Yes.
I don't have time for my TBR, but
Uh-uh.
it keeps growing. But yeah, I love the
Yeah.
indie authors. I feel
Yeah.
like you find a lot of special gems too with them. Like,
Yes. I was not ever familiar with like what genre blending was until I met an indie author. The very first indie author book I ever read was Clause and Effect by Phoebe Sinclair. And it's basically a retelling of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, she's a lawyer? Oh, he's a lawyer? Oh, they're both representing very famous people. Oh, I love this. So I fell in love with it, and then the next book I read was Highland Warrior, which was an MMA romance by Layla Cornell, and I had never ever heard of MMA romance, and I was like, what do you mean they're Slovakian and Russian and they have funny accents? And this is amazing. I love it, and I was hooked. Like hooked from that point forward.
that kind of reminds me of the Cinderella movie, the boxer movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that
great.
would be a fun book to read.
It
I
was
know.
great.
I like it. I think the first time we did actually, and Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say like one of the first indie author books we kind of read was we were almost like beta reading, but we didn't quite realize that we were beta reading.
Yeah. Been there.
And we're like, there's some stuff going on in here. We might need, and then we're like messaging the author, like, we have a question about this, and we're like feeling guilty, and they're like, no, that's what we want. We're like,
Right.
oh, okay, because we didn't want to be
Oh, yeah,
insulting. We
for
just are trying to figure it
Sophie
out.
Hart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two sisters, actually, I feel like that's how we got into indie authors, is a bunch of authors started reaching out to us. Hey, can you just read this book? And then after that, it's like, what? That was so much fun. So then we started doing indie author Wednesdays. So
That's so much fun. I
yeah,
love that.
people started
Yeah.
bringing, but then like every time we make the post, like, hey, it's indie author Wednesdays coming up if you want to be featured. I felt like people just stopped like reaching out to us. So it was kind of sad for me because I had so much fun with it because that's when I found all the fun books.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were able to add a lot to our TBR when we did Indie Author Wednesday. A lot.
Yeah. I did a cover reveal post or a cover art post because I'm a little feral sometimes. And I got tired of hearing, oh, my book isn't successful. Oh, no one wants to read my book. And first of all, woe is me. I understand that. It's a big world. Number two, respectfully, your cover art sucks. I wouldn't pick your book up with a 10-foot pole. And I
Yeah.
understand that you're a human being, and I love that for you. So I just, one day I was in a feral mood, and I was like, you know what? Drop your cover art. I'm going to tell you if it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, it's true. How many times have we seen a book and I'm like, oh, this, like, I'm like, let me check this out. And I look at it and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think the first, what was it? What is it? Dungeon Crawl.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody had sent that to me. They're like, don't judge it by the cover. And I was
Too
like, okay. And then I looked at it. I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, no, you have to. And I'm like, it's really hard for me to read a book when I look at the cover and I'm not it's like falling in love.
That would go totally outside of her comfort zone of genre reading.
Yeah.
That is not something she would in a million years ever pick up, which is funny when she mentioned it to me. I was like, wait, you want to try that book? What? So
I'm right there with you.
I love the cover art. If it's it's really crazy to say, because if I'm like, oh, I like that cover art, I'll automatically start reading it without even knowing anything, just because of the cover art. Just like, oh gosh.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I can't even tell you how many of these books, because the outside ones are my trad published, my insides are all my indies, and because when I film, I want my indies to be in the background because I want them to get the hype. And I cannot tell you, my poor boyfriend, Lord love him, because we'll be at the bookstore and listen, here you guys are about to get my my secret stash, but I'll be like,
ready.
He's like, what is that? I'm like,
don't worry about it.
He's like, do you know what is that book? I'm like, Brookside, duh. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what genre it is. I couldn't tell you who the author is. I'm like, it's pretty and you're coming with me. I have shelf space for you.
Oh yeah. No, I've purchased many books where I'm like, this is beautiful. And then I look at like the description. I'm like, I will probably never read this.
Ever.
That's okay.
Exactly.
It looks nice on my shelf.
Yep. So
I'm a sucker for sprayed edges.
Me too. Me too.
I love a good sprayed edge, and I'm a sucker for them. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're sneaking you in here. Even if I don't have room for you, I will make room for you. Like,
yeah, here's the problem, like owning the Indie Author Insider bookstore, because I'm sure my boyfriend will be like, oh, that's what's happening, because like I'll order books and kind of like put them in with the stash, and I'm like, oh, more books. Oops.
Yeah.
Well, how did that get in there? It just complicated.
Well, and you have a great excuse, because you could be like, well, it's for the Indie Author Insider. Okay. It's not for me. And then really you're like pulling it in and like, putting it in your stash.
Pretty sure that happened. I don't know where it's at right now, but that definitely happened with Aria Ashbrook's books. I don't know what happened. I was like, oh, there's an order. Let me just add one to the cart for myself.
And yet you're like, whoops.
Yep.
My finger got crazy. It just double tapped it on accident.
Yeah. I didn't know it said 7
it wasn't
in
my
there.
fault.
Talking about computer glitch, but it was already in there, so I couldn't take it.
Oh yeah. No, when I was ordering from your website the other day, I was like, okay, like you need to calm down, because it's like you have like I could have ordered so much more, and I was like, okay, I have a budget.
Right. I'm right there.
I got to stick 100%. With this. My husband will freak out. But I was like, well, I had some birthday money, and I was like, all right, let's just, let's start here, and then we'll go from there.
Exactly. I'm like,
oh, it was so crazy.
But it's like the cool thing is though, like I'm also an influencer for a lot of the trad publishers. So it kind of works out anyway, because it's like, okay, yes, I'm buying it for myself, but at the same time it's content to where I can tag the publisher in it as well.
Right.
So I try to do that with indie authors also whenever I purchase their books, but it is a struggle sometimes when I'm like, I want to love this. I love the blurb, but the cover art, it's hard for me to connect to the cover art a lot.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't know if you guys do this with ARC reading, but sometimes I don't want to look at the cover. Like when it says to be revealed, I'm like, let me read it first.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't look at it because it's either going to sway me or it's going to push me. Like I've got to figure this out for myself.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but I've been conflicted where it's like, oh, cover reveal coming soon. I'm like, all right. I start reading. I'm like, oh, I love it. And then I get the cover art and I'm like, oh, there goes my motivation to read it. Oh no.
I know, it's like, gosh, like what is this? I have gone up and down with some books. I've signed up for some and I'm like, oh, I was so excited. And then I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, I'm signed up. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Yep.
I'm curious on why they changed them. Like, what was it? I think it was you because I tagged you in it. Briar Voss's. I love that book, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. The
Oh yeah.
yeah, but her original cover that I saw was like black and
Mm-hmm.
like different, and now it's like all, which is really cool too, but it was all bright and like
And
pinks and
pink.
greens and stuff. So I was like, what
Yeah.
just happened? Like that's not. But
Yeah.
I ended up loving the book either way. So,
Yeah.
but I wonder why they changed it like that because it's not
Yeah.
the first time I've seen it.
Well, it's like
So,
the same thing with Quicksilver, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's been all kinds of controversy over that, and I personally like the original.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they didn't. What was it? They didn't like her artwork or something. Poor. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering why they would change it like that though. 'Cause that first one, that's what drew me in. And when I got the thing, I was like, this isn't the right book.
Take that back. This is not it.
But it was
Yeah.
good. I'm so glad I read that.
Yeah. I've heard different things about it. I'm like, I'm conflicted. I keep going back and forth because my friend, she recommended the ACOTAR series, and respectfully, I did not care for it. And so now everything she refers to me, I'm like, I don't know
Scared.
if I trust you. I don't know if I trust you.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
especially
my
when there's a
first
lot of hype.
mafia book, but I've really enjoyed it. I know there
Yeah.
was somebody said that he used darling too much, but
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the book.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
like,
have to read it.
dang girl. It
Yeah.
was a fast read too. So
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, crazy.
yeah.
Well, I know with indie authors, a lot of times they'll change the covers just because I PA for indie authors.
Mhm.
So I've had this happen a couple of times. I've had a situation where they've had original cover art, but then their artist has used AI, so they have changed the cover art due to that. Or I had a post one time that says, would you read the cover art or would you read the book based on the cover art? And people have changed their cover art because of the responses they were getting from readers. Um, I've had a couple of
Yeah.
authors that have put their cover art into like a Google form that says, do you like it, yes or no? And then they will change that based off of those results. So that's some of the reasons why I know that they've changed it. But outside of that, sometimes I'm like, no, take it back.
Right.
Take
Give me
it
both
Well,
back.
and
versions.
Yes, take it
it's
back.
it's
Yes.
probably the same thing if you're like an indie author, right? Because you're creating everything yourself. A lot of times they're designing it
Mm-hmm.
themselves, they're doing all this. And then if they become like, a trad, something like that, then all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're gonna have to switch everything around. We
Yeah.
want this cover to be this. And it sort of loses its value. And I know
Yeah.
we've done interviews. I think Amanda, wasn't it Briar Knightley that said this, or somebody told us that they liked the fact that they were able to stay indie because it stayed true to themselves, which
Yep.
I was like, I
I
kind of
think
like
that was
that.
Briar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, I guess we should probably get into some of the questions that we have for you. Are you ready
Okay.
for them?
100%.
Okay. So, I guess, how did you go from being a reader to becoming such a champion for indie authors?
So this gets a little dark, but don't worry, there's a happily ever after. In December, I had a surgery. I was supposed to get a hysterectomy, and I basically tried to walk myself off the earth while I was under anesthesia. And they had to stop my surgery. They pulled me out. I started having like really bad panic attacks. They thought I had a brain tumor. Had to go through all this testing. Ended up having my hysterectomy. I was fine. Everything was great with that surgery. But I lost my mom almost 9 years ago, which I'm okay with. We were not close. But there was a lot of unresolved trauma, I guess, with that, and a lot of miscarriages and stuff. So my body was like grieving loss. And so I wasn't sleeping. I was having panic attacks. I was passing out. And one day I was on Facebook, and I had come across the ARC reads and stuff. So I was looking for some books to read. I have always loved to read, but I was kind of in that space where I didn't want to make my own decision, if that makes sense, because I just was already so overwhelmed with my mind being busy. So I wanted someone else to do it for me. And when I saw Clause and Effect, I didn't realize it was an ARC or an indie. I had no idea. So I was like, yeah, sign up. Free book. You said free? Yes. All my information. I had no idea it was a digital book. I had no idea it was an ebook. I went into it blind. So the doors opened very quickly after that. And I was introduced to what indie authors were. And then I was like, wait, why are these books not being read? Like, why don't we know about these books? Because I started asking my friends, have you ever heard of this person? No, who's that? Have you ever heard of this book? No, no, I haven't. Like that. Why? And I saw that there was such a gap because what I read was wonderful and I loved it so much. Like I was on fire for these books, but no one knew about them and I'm like, this is stupid. Why don't you guys know about these books? And I'm like I said, I'm very feral and I'm very vocal and I'm very obnoxious. And so when I fall in love with something, I want everybody around me to fall in love with it. So that's kind of how that very quickly pivoted. I saw that there was a lack of support, that they're doing everything on their own. I did some research into the trad space compared to the indie space. How little they make if they ever break even really frustrated my soul because I'm like, you're literally writing an entire book that I can pick up and read in one sitting and you made 35 cents off of that. No, that's not okay.
Not okay.
Not okay. I'm very upset with that. So, especially when you pour your heart and soul, like I have a book right here that got sent to me. I just finished it. Amber Luna, My Bright Light, right?
Ooh.
By Caitlin Marcourt. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but you would think this is a little kid's middle school book, but it's so much deeper than that. You have self-harm, you have depression, you have ideations, you have bullying, harassment. And I'm like, all those things I went through as a kid. And it kind of helped me heal in a lot of ways that trad published books don't. I feel like I escape my reality with trad published and I help heal my reality with indie, if that makes sense.
That's actually really beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Yeah, that was, I mean, because it's definitely something I think all of us can have that connection where it's like we're going through something and then we kind of use the books to find an escape.
Yeah.
And it really kind of helps heal some things internally, or we can relate to some of the characters and it brings a lot out for us. So yeah, that was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Wonderfully said.
Appreciate that.
I feel like you already answered this question, so I'll just tell us about the Indie Author Insider podcast. What inspired you to launch it, and what can listeners expect?
So not as much feralness on the Indie Author Insider podcast because I try to be respectful in all my interviews. We do get pretty deep with like trauma. There's actually one that released today where we talk about a lot of trauma-informed care in the writing space and how that's not really represented very well in the writing piece of it, like what we had kind of just mentioned.
I saw the teaser.
Yeah. What we kind of mentioned is of like some of us read to kind of heal sometimes, and in a lot of ways there are books that are written where there is essay on the page, but then there's not really a healing journey, but then a man comes along to fix it, and I'm like, that is not how my journey went, you know? So basically how the whole Indie Author Insider came about was I was on leave from work. I was doing TikTok lives and I had met a few authors that really championed for me. And I really to this day don't understand why, because I feel like I'm a nobody, you know, like I'm just over here talking about books, nerding out. And I had already wanted to start a trauma podcast. I've been on that for a long time because I have a very traumatic past and I love talking about it. And I've had some really crazy jobs where that has only exasperated my trauma. But I was on a live one day and I was like, you know, someone said you should do a podcast. And I was like, oh, that's funny. You know, I'll probably do a trauma podcast one day. And they're like, no, like you really need to do a podcast. And I was like, no, I really don't. You don't want me there. And essentially they bullied me into it. So here we are.
It's so funny.
You are so good with peer pressure, huh?
Yes.
Well, we're glad you are.
Like a lawn
chair. You did. I'm glad you did.
Amanda and I had talked back and forth, like, because how we kind of started was we started reading ACOTAR together. Well, Amanda had actually, for a hot minute, she was like, can you read this book with me? Like, it was Fourth Wing for a while. And I was like, no. Dragons, no. Like, I was, now, you know, spoiler, I have read them now. But the time I was like, no. And so she's like, so what was the one, Amanda, you gave me the book Hooked.
I did.
She's like,
which is great.
She's like, read this. Now, keep in mind, I haven't read anything since it had been like a hot minute. I think
she said she liked Peter Pan and Hook. So there you
Well,
go.
yes, I
There you
did,
go.
but I'm thinking like the cartoon Peter Pan. I'm thinking like, maybe like with Wendy and Peter falling in love. Like I'm thinking
Oh
something
yeah,
like that, right?
yeah.
So I hadn't read anything since 50 Shades of Grey. It had been that
Okay.
long. So I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. I bought it. I opened it up. I read the first
The prologue.
paragraph.
She wrote the prologue and she texted me and she basically said, I
I
hate you.
quit. It's like, no, I said, you're giving this for me as my first book back in, I
Mhm.
don't even know how long. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the book is
I
fantastic, but
loved
I
it.
hadn't read in a hot minute. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what? Like, this is too much for me. I was
yeah.
like, we're talking about some nasty stuff going on. I don't know if I could do this.
Mhm.
And so I told her, not this one. So she
Yeah.
came back with Akatar. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, I guess I'm willing to try again,
Yeah.
even though you
That took a
failed me with
lot
the
of
first
work.
book.
Yeah.
That took a lot of work. I begged her. I'm like, it'd be great. You'll love it. I promise you.
So we started reading it together, and it turned into a lot of like, what is this? What is
Yeah.
like on the phone? What are you talking about? What does this mean? And she's like, keep
Mhm.
reading, and I'm like,
Yep.
no. And then it was vice versa. So we're like, we should just be doing this on a podcast where we
Yeah.
just like completely go crazy with how we talk about stuff
Yeah.
and give our theories that probably are never going to come true and see where it goes from there. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's where we started.
I mean, that's fun too. Like I can't talk to myself on my podcast, but in where it kind of limits with the Indie Author Insider podcast, I talk to authors directly. I talk to readers. So in the reader space, we can kind of branch out of the author's book and things to that nature. We started talking to narrators and bookish businesses. But with the authors, I'm like, oh, I want to compare the book, but I'm like, don't compare the book. That you don't do that, don't do that. But I'm like, ACOTAR. I think ACOTAR gets brought up all the time. I'm like, I hate ACOTAR. Respectfully,
You're
I'm glad your
welcome.
book's
I'm
on
just kidding.
ACOTAR.
Yeah, it's got a lot of hype, and I've heard so many mixed reviews on it. Like people are like, it was my favorite book, and then I've heard some people are like, overrated. Like
Yeah,
I think it just comes down to the reader and what they're expecting and what they're
yeah,
looking for in a book.
yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think for me, I'm ADHD. I'm very ADHD. I tell people that all the time. And for me, I need something that's going to keep my attention. And I went through college. I have a master's degree. So I know what it's like to have to write a paper that is a maximum of so many characters or so many pages. And there were so many times where I'm like, girl, if we don't get out of this mother trucking mine, I need you guys to move on. Come on, let's go.
We got to do it.
It just
Sorry.
drug for me. Yeah. But
Yep. I've had books like that. You're like,
yeah.
oh, I got to go upstairs. Normally you're like, I'm so excited to go read. It's my time for me. And there's times
Yeah.
where I've had books where I'm like, oh gosh, I have to go.
I have to
Like,
read.
I don't want to do that, but I
Yep.
have to because
Yep.
I have to finish the arc or something,
Exactly. Yes.
So
100%
now
understand.
you kind of answer a little bit about this, but just kind of touching on it. So we obviously like we do read a lot of indie books on our podcast, but
Hmm.
for our listeners who might be new to indie books, what exactly is an indie author and why should readers care about supporting them specifically?
So I actually love this question and I love talking about it all the time. Especially we have our influencer group and we're doing our best to educate them on why it's so important to advocate and really support them. So independently published authors, they go through and do everything themselves. They write the book themselves, they format the book themselves. They may hire an editor to help, but a lot of times they don't because editors are so expensive. They find their own beta readers, their own alpha readers, their own ARC readers, which alpha comes first, beta comes second, ARC comes third, to the best of my knowledge. But the ARC readers, it's still an imperfect copy at that point, but it kind of helps build up the book for the release day to help the author get their book out to the world. And that's where your street team comes into play. So they're independently published authors, and everything is, they're not stuck to a cookie cutter piece like a lot of trad published authors are. They can talk outside of their genre. They can do whatever they want essentially in their book. And the reason why it's so important is because every single thing they do is out of their own paycheck, out of their own pocket. Marketing is coming out of their own pocket. I know I'm a very selfish person. I'm not going to lie about that. I love receiving free books and getting book mail and getting PR packages, and I don't know a single person that wouldn't feel that way, getting a free book sent to them. If you're a reader, it's a gift. It's a beautiful gift. And I got really frustrated for a while because I kept seeing, oh, I want free books, I want free books. And then they would get free books, but you would never see the book on their page. So I became even a bigger champion for them because it's an expensive hobby for them, essentially. A lot of them are trying to make it their life career. It's very difficult to do very difficult to do so, but with tribe published authors, they have the budget to send you these beautiful PR packages, whereas indie authors, just sending one physical book can cost them $20 because they have to pay to print it, pay to ship it to themselves. Once they get it, they have to pay for the packaging material, then they have to pay to reship it. So it just becomes a very expensive thing. So that's why it's important to advocate for authors, is because you are their marketing team. You are who is out there helping them get their book to another reader who might very much fall in love with their book, but may have never heard of them without your connection. So you can think about it as a free marketing tool, but I like to think of it as, how can I connect another reader like me to this book who it might help somebody? Like this one specifically speaks about self-harm and depression and ideations, and how it just took one person seeing them for them to kind of change their, not really their mindset, but to kind of help them grow and heal through that piece. And it just takes just one of us. I have a bookmark that says, every author, I don't remember exactly what it says. Essentially, it just takes one reader to change an indie author's life. Just one. And that person could be you. So that's why it's important to advocate.
That's so perfectly said.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, we all look, I feel like everybody can connect with a book. I like getting book mail. And I
Of
feel like
course.
if you took your time out to send me a book using especially your own money and everything, I want to do something special for you. I will like to do a box opening. I would like to show
Yeah.
your book off because I mean, it's like getting something for free. Let me, if I can't, if I'm not going to give you physical money in exchange, then let me figure out a way that I can
Yeah.
help. Thank you for that. And
Exactly.
I'm always open for book mail.
Yeah.
My DMs are open. No, I'm just kidding.
All the time.
Right. I do love book mail, and then the book mail I get, I have to put it at the top of the list to read next, because
Mhm.
I just feel so special that you
Yep.
sent me something, and I'll read your book and put a review out there.
Yeah.
So
And we have actually upped books on our podcast because people have been so gracious and sent us not just like me a book, or not just her, but both of us a book. It's like we both live in separate states. And so
Right.
it's like, for you to go out of your way to send her one and me one, we're like,
Yeah.
let's add it to the podcast and let's add it next. Like, and we've done that, and we've gotten some fantastic books on there.
Yeah. And I will say this, like, that's a fantastic point that you guys bring up, because I do ARC read as well. I have a lot of ARCs that I read. But I'm the same way. And then I also, you guys, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel so guilty when an author slides into my DMs and they're like, hey, can you read this Kindle version or this ebook? And I'm like, I would love to, but all of these books right here, I have them sorted because I have to. I still have to read all of these physical books that have been sent to me first, and I always prioritize physical because I do understand that you still wrote the book, but you can send me a free version of your book. This took someone's physical dollars and cents to send to me, so I'm so glad that you brought up that point, because I'm the same way. Like, if you send me a physical book, right here next to me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 books that I still have to do a book unboxing for. And those will get added to my priority list because that's physical money that you sent to me to do. And kind of like what you guys said, here's a book unboxing, here is a read, here's a review. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I am not a super critical reviewer when it comes to indie authors. I'm just not.
Yeah.
no, they took a lot if they did it all themselves. So I always encounter that in my review, that they did it themselves.
Yeah.
There's one book that, which it's a great book. I won it, so I read it. I did a review. I didn't dock her anything for it, but you could tell that she did. And I told her about it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you!" But she did a paragraph of a section, and then changed it up just a second, and then the same paragraph at the end.
Yeah.
So my brain had to kind of fix it for her, but I wanted her to know. But I was like, wow, this is kind of cool if you think about it, because it's like, it just shows how, like, I don't know, to me, it was like she did do everything herself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I try not to be overly critical when it comes to like indie authors. It's like you put so much time and effort, and I just appreciate you writing it and
Right.
putting all your time out there. That's not fair for me to dock you on certain things that it's like,
Yeah.
come on, like, so
Yep.
I try to be super I guess I keep my eye on that. I know, let's not be overly critical, but let's also not lie to my audience.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's
Yeah.
like I have to find that, but it's like I don't want to be overly critical because it's like they did take so much time and I can
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I've said that even to Amanda. I'm like, I just don't really care for this book, but I was like, I really appreciate the writing and they're
Yeah.
such a nice person. And I don't,
Yeah.
it's like you don't want to be mean.
Right. But like you said though, there's a way to say it and be honest about it, but not be super critical. I actually love this book. This book made me cry. So this is a 5-star book for me. But let's say it's not. You can still, even if you're doing a recorded video, you can still come on there and be like, hey, if these are your tropes, this is 100% a book
Yeah.
for you. This will absolutely rock your world. Now, I didn't
Hmm.
say, oh my gosh, I love this book. It's a 5-star read for me, but I just said,
Right.
which it is. This is a 5-star read for me. But there's a way to even go on there and write a written review of, yes, it might have fallen a little short for me here. However, this, if you like this, then this will be a book for you. Whereas
Yes.
I struggle with seeing people that are, narratives this long, tearing apart every single possible thing. And for me, I'm like, here's 2 things for me. If you're going to be that critical, I highly encourage you to go be a beta reader for the author because you look like you belong in that space. But number 2, I won't read the review. And the reason being is because if you come in here and you tell me that you hate Joe, you hate Clara, Sam's a piece of crap, and someone gets called darling too much, I am now got that in my brain where I'm like, oh,
Right.
why is Joe a piece of crap? Why don't we like Clara? And now I find myself focusing on what you wrote in your review versus what this author put into their book. So I don't like to read that. I don't care. With trad published books, they have a lot more exposure, so your one super critical review might not tank them. But with an indie author who only has 3 reviews, if you leave them a 1-star review, you've now critically tanked them. And we're visual people, so if you go on to the Zon and see this is a 2-star overall rated, you're probably going to pass on it. But realistically, 2 people made it a 5, and we had 1 that was a hater. So that's my thought process on it. Is know your audience, essentially. And if you want to be that critical, that's fantastic. Do it before the ARC release comes and go offer your services as a beta reader. Personal opinion.
That's a great point.
And I'm the worst beta reader because I love everything and
Me
my
too.
brain just automatically fixes it. And I'm like, oh, this was great.
Yeah.
Well, what should I change about the character? Nothing. I
Nothing.
loved your character. Don't ask me that. Okay. Go
Yeah.
away. I'll be your ARC reader though. Just tell me.
I'm just like you.
Like, I
So
love
funny.
it. I love everything.
Yep.
That's
I'm the
crazy.
same.
Okay. So the next question is, and this actually came from because I saw your post about your indie author sweaters. I
Yeah.
wanted it, but I saw so many other people posted it because you're like, I only have one more. So whenever you get more, I need you to email me first because I want it. I'm like, that's not fair. I'm so slow at stuff like that. I miss everything.
Well, we are putting an order in, just so you know. So I'll email you guys.
I want to be next.
Thank you.
Me and
We
Carly
want
need
some.
to be next.
Yes.
Don't forget about us.
I won't. I promise.
And your shop is probably going to take all my money pretty soon anyways. But my question is, your shop and your podcast seem to work hand in hand. Was that always the plan, or did like one thing lead to another? Like, what, honestly, the shop came second, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So none of this was planned. I'm just living on a prayer over here at this point because it's like all these doors just keep opening. The podcast definitely came first, but then it came to the piece of, as I was PAing for authors, I was having a really hard time connecting with bookstore owners. Like, they would say, oh, we're accepting books. I'm like, all right, perfect. Let me email them. No response. Crickets. Get ghosted. I'm like, all right, well, fine. I'll just open my own store at this rate. I'll help you guys out. Now I'm the person that's like ghosting and crickets because I can't keep up with the emails. Like, I have hundreds of emails. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am that person. So the only reason it came about was because, okay, how can we help get these books, if we're talking about them on the podcast and we're already talking about the book unboxings, there's just another avenue to point them in that direction. And you know, it's definitely an up and down business for sure. Like we have a lot of stuff that behind us over here, we have a lot of stuff that has to get posted, but I work full time. So it's nearly impossible to do everything that we want to do for the shop until I no longer work with my company. But no, it definitely came in second. However, they do absolutely go hand in hand with each other now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I love
that.
everything in there.
Keeps me broke. So
Right? Keeps us all broke. We're like, here,
So
take my
broke.
money and just send me stuff. Like, I don't care what it is. Just send me things, surprise me, and just keep my money.
Your sweater, I felt like went really fast because I was like, when does she post this? And why is there so many people? And she only had one left, you guys. Go away.
Yeah. It's when I posted, because I actually made that. So I was in Canva one day just designing something, and I was like, because I was working on bookmarks for the bookstore, and this vision just came into my mind, and I was like, oh, the tea could be this. And then my boyfriend was like, why don't you put a dragon up here by authors? And I was like, oh, I could make a dragon over here. So
It's a dragon, everyone.
yeah, I loved it, and I put it on a sweater, and then I was like, oh, no one's really gonna want it. And then we didn't have like a whole lot of pre-orders for it, but I was like, I'm so selfish that add to cart, I need to test it, make sure it looks okay. And so I did. I ordered a few, and got them in different sizes, got them in a couple different colors, and then I went to work wearing it one day, and my coworkers were like, where did you get that? And I was like, I made it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I love it. I had to do a couple different, I have some in the works for different genres. And I've also been told that I need to do one that says I am an indie author. So those will be coming out, you know, whenever I can get my head above water and breathe for a second.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah. I love those types of stories where people make something and they're like, it's not going to go anywhere. Like, but they still put it out there, and then look at it, it's like, so it's sold out so fast.
Yeah, it did. Like, I think it was maybe 3 minutes after I made the post that it was gone.
Yeah. I was so jealous. I was like, I'm stalking her page now.
Set to get alerts.
Yes. I need to know when she moves, what she gets. Because I was so sad. I think I was like 10 minutes too after the post. I saw it, and I'm like, how did it go so fast?
Man, is like fast fingers in there.
Yeah.
I know. Like, stalk it.
But. Yeah. I feel you on that, though.
So, what's the most surprising thing that you've learned about indie authors since starting your podcast?
So, their processes, the way that their brains work, and just how different they all are. I understand that everyone's different, but their writing process is so different, and their struggles are all very different. Some people are very good with the marketing, and some people don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I'm really surprised at how many people do not want to go indie. I mean trad. I thought so many people would want to go trad, and I asked that question a lot, and a lot of the times it's no, I want control over my own work. I'm like, oh, that's fascinating.
And once you know that answer, you're like, it actually makes sense. Like, I would be the same way, probably.
Absolutely. 100%. Especially because if anybody in the world has read multiple trad books in the same genre, you know, going into the next book that gets released, it's going to have the same premise. It's going to have the same sort of plot parts. You're going to have a different character, a different town, and there might be a different plot twist, but you're going to have the same ending. And for me, I'm like, okay, I know Joe and Sherry are going to get married at the end of this, but how do we do it? Well, Ariel N. Anderson completely changed that for me with Under Your Scars, because she does not have a happily ever after, and I freaking love that book. And I have found so many authors that don't write happily ever afters, and I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
Gotta switch it up.
Yes. And like there's a lot. GM Luttrell wrote Prince Charming is a Myth, and hers is a rom-com thriller. And I was like, wait, hold on. Both together? Okay.
Like, how do we do this? Okay, I'm interested now.
I like this. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, them not having to stay, and I get it. Like I understand from the trad published perspective, they're in the business to make money, right? They don't care how they make it. They're in the business to make money, and that makes sense. So if you find something that works, you don't change it. You leave it alone. You do not go outside of that, because then you take a risk and you don't know if the ROI is going to be worth it. I understand that. So every book that these authors publish is a risk, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was surprising, because you would think that that would be like the ultimate dream, is to go trad with one of the big five, and for them to be like, no, because you're not about to tell me what I can and can't write. I'm like, I love you. Thank you.
Makes me want to read their book more, to stand
That's
up for
exactly
yourself
what
like that.
happens. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Yep.
Yeah. Because it's like trad published. Yeah. You have the benefit of like having your book fully exposed, and you have
Yeah.
so many people who are on your team helping you push it out. But I feel like you do lose a little bit of yourself in your book
Yep.
in that. And I mean, it's not, not everybody cares, and that's fine.
Right.
If it's, you need to make money, I get that. I understand that. But having that security of, this is who I am and this is what I want for my book.
Yeah.
I'm for it,
Yep.
100% for that. And I'm going to support you for that.
Yep. And I talk about this quite often, but like with Sarah J. Maas, right? She has these books. All of a sudden, she has this gap in time where now all of a sudden she's getting 6 and 7 out. But I worry about her mental health, because I don't see her all over social media. I don't see her making posts. I don't see her like being excited about this stuff. And maybe I'm just not seeing it. But I'm like, is she writing for her at this point, or is she writing for the masses? Because you can tell when someone's no longer writing for themselves and they're writing for the masses. And I worry about, like, let's say 6 and 7 aren't successful. What's going to happen? Because you have the whole world looking at you. And what if it's not as successful as the first 5? Like, I worry. I genuinely, I don't like her book, but she's still a human being at heart.
Yeah.
Her first book did get me back into reading, so I will say that. But it's like, the pressure that I feel like you also have to feel, not only on yourself and from your readers, but also from the publisher, of you have to do this has to sell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I worry about mental health a lot with authors and what that publishing piece looks like for them.
Yeah.
That'd be really sad if she did just write it for the masses, because I feel like she kind of ended it good. You didn't have to continue it. There was, so I mean,
Yeah.
you could be right. That reminds me of the guy who made what's it called? Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That he stopped writing. And I'm just like, I wonder if he did it. And I remember I watched an interview, and I think he said because the TV show kind of ended it great for him anyways. So
yeah.
I was like, good for him.
Disagree. Excuse
But
me.
anything he writes, which is true, because anything he writes after that, it's going to be compared to the TV
100%.
show.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
at least he did that for himself. After you said all that,
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes sense on why he didn't do it now. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
hate him anymore.
It's probably like too, it's like you start off. I mean, I'm assuming probably most authors probably start as indie. I mean, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong or not, but like we think Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, like all these people start that way. So it's like you get to a point where you're like, do I still enjoy writing this book? Because it used to be for me, and now it's no longer for me.
Yep.
Didn't they make Rebecca Yarros change her outcome with Violet? Right? I don't want to spoil.
She's got the eyebrows like, yep.
I know. No, okay. I can't say. Okay, well,
like I don't have facts on that by any means, but what I was gonna say is basically the same thing that you were saying, is how much of it is actually what she wrote from herself versus what they were forced to change to fit the narrative of somebody else.
Yeah, which I think is so sad. So, okay,
me too. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
As long as we're on the same page. I'm just kidding. Okay. What are you currently reading, and is it an indie author book?
So I just finished a book, but right back here, my next one is Boots, Bucket Lists, and Bad Ideas by Lily Mae Montana. They are indie. I just finished Light by Michelle Quebec, that actually just released yesterday. That was a psychological horror thriller book. So I just finished that one yesterday. And then that is my next read, Boots, Bucket Lists, and Bad Ideas. And this is like an almost 900 page book. So
Oh,
Go
wow.
get it, girl.
Yes. I will say this. As an indie author reader, I do have the physical books, but if the book is on KU or Kindle, I always read it on KU or Kindle because that gives the author the pages read and it boosts their book into the algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
said
you
that too.
know?
And then that's when I always switch to Kindle now.
Yep.
Like, no matter, even if I have it, I'm like, okay, I'll give them the,
Yep.
because I think it was for
Interesting.
Loki for Glitched and Fractured.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they get paid for each, like, it's like small cents for each page that's read too?
Yep. So
Yeah. And he does everything by himself, his own artwork,
Mhm.
his own everything. So when he
Yeah.
said that, I was like, let me go reread it again.
Yeah, you're right. It's 3/100ths of a page or 3/100ths of a cent per page, but it's not the pages that we think it is. It's how it's been told to me is it's for every 3 pages, that is 1 page. So 3 Kindle pages equals 1 page for Kindle. So that would be 3/100ths of a cent for each of those 3. So basically 1/100th of a cent per page that they get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it wasn't like a lot, but yeah, I know
No.
Kindle always helps them out even more. So,
Yes.
Wow,
And
that's amazing.
yeah, with Kindle, I found this out real quick and in a hurry. Kindle has an accessibility option for those that are not able to read or they're blind, they might have a vision impairment. So I actually listen to a lot of the Kindle books and I will speed it up to my speed, which is about 3 to 3.5, and listen to it that way, which helps me read more books, when I'm driving to work, when I'm at work, whenever I'm driving home from
yeah.
work. So,
That's so funny. Amanda will speed up hers. When I was reading Fourth Wing, I actually had to go down in speed. I was like, I have to go down to like a point 0.8 because I was
oh,
like, what?
I was like, this is so slow.
yeah.
She was
Spit it
finishing
out.
well before me. And I'm like, I have like 30 more minutes. She's like, what are you doing? I have to go down in speed because my mind was like, do you understand what you're reading?
Right? That's
She's like,
fair.
you're speaking so fast. Hold on.
So now what is something that's coming up next for the Indie Author Insider that you're most excited about that you're able to share?
So we've not announced this yet, so you guys are the first people to hear this. We are going to be doing a lot of live events that are coming up. So we're going to show up to the Denver author signing. We got tickets to that. We are going to show up to the Nashville one. That is the very next weekend, the first weekend of August. We're showing up for that. And then we have the one on August 15th in Fort Smith, Arkansas. We got tickets to go to Indie LitCon next year. And so we are going to be showing up in person in a lot more places and doing more in-person podcast interviews with book businesses, authors, and readers. So we're going to start traveling.
That's exciting. Okay, make
How
Arizona on top of your
fun.
list
Yeah, I
because
was
I'm
Okay.
stationed here. So, there is an indie author that was on the thing that's going to be out here in Payson. It's like Bond by Death or something.
Ooh, I haven't heard from
It's
that one yet.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, maybe I didn't find it on the indie author. It's tomorrow, and I was like, I have to work tomorrow. Oh, that's not
stupid.
fair,
Yeah,
right? I call in sick, but
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, it's super exciting. So I have to have surgery August 20th, which just came up. And I will be in a straight leg, full leg immobilizer for about 8 weeks.
oh,
So we were gonna be out there in Vegas was one of our stops. Sacramento, LA, all of that. We were going to be out there in September, but I won't be able to make that drive. However, it is very much on our radar because I live in Kansas, so we're like in the smack dab middle of the country. We're gonna do a West Side tour, and then we're gonna do an East Side tour, and then we're gonna do a Canadian tour. So
how fun! That's
yes,
way fun.
Fun. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to come out. If you come to, I mean, we're not opposed to driving to each other.
yeah,
Like, I've driven to her, she's driven to me. So it's like, if you just come to one of ours, we will be there to support you in person.
yes, that'd be
Well, if you're
amazing. I would
gonna
love that.
be in Canada, it's Taz. What's for Winter Sorrow? How do you pronounce her name? She's an indie author who does everything. That
Tasman?
if you haven't read Winter Sorrow, I highly recommend you reading. It's such a cute book.
Ooh,
The second one just came out too. So,
I'll have to look into
but
that.
she
No, I
lives in
have not heard.
Canada.
I haven't
Oh,
heard of
I'll
it.
send you the thing for it.
Yeah,
like the
please do.
the picture so you remember. So you remember. Yeah. I really like her. That book was great. So
Yeah, we did enjoy that book. It's a really sweet, like easy to read, get you, you know what I mean? Like,
Ooh.
you know that there's going to be a lot building in it. And I like
Yeah.
it. You know those books that are like I don't know how to explain it, but like weather based, right? Like you've got spring, summer, winter,
Oh
fall,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. And I was digging
that
it.
was
I'm
like
like, this is nice.
my first Witches book. Like, so that was
Ooh.
exciting too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll send you the info so you could just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Go support her. Yeah, and also
Yeah.
spend more
Yeah.
money. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime. That's what I know. She gave us the EPUB for it. And
Mhm.
I was just like, not even halfway in the book, but it like drew my attention probably the first couple of chapters. And then I was like, I bought it.
Yep.
Well, my kids bought it for Mother's Day for me, but
Oh.
it was me saying, okay, I want this
Yeah.
book. So,
Yep. Nope. I
yeah.
understand that all too well, and I love it because it's like I had never read really a true witches book until I read Indie, and I think there's that connotation sometimes of like, ooh, witchcraft. I'm like, oh, let me read about it. let me go see what that's
Yeah.
about.
I want it.
Exactly. Let
Yeah.
me read.
No. Honestly, I think some of my favorite books have been indie
Yeah.
compared to like traditionally published. Like,
Yep.
I think because everybody, you hear ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, and it's like, even if
Yeah.
you didn't like it, you feel an obligation to be like, oh, I like it because
Yeah.
everybody's supposed to like it, right? But
Yeah.
when you read these indie authors, you're like, no, I genuinely like this. Like most
Yeah.
of the books I will refer to people is like indie
Yeah.
authors.
Yep.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yep.
they're so fantastic. You have to read it.
I
And
have a
see.
naughty mindset.
Oh,
Sorry.
same. Same.
But
Same.
I'm like,
Yep.
oh, it's overpopulated.
Oh
So
wow.
if I didn't read Fourth Wing by now, I'd be like, I ain't gonna read it. Like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. So when something gets like too big, I'm like, I want to be the person that's just like,
Yep.
I'll be on my own.
Yep.
I like, so
I'm right there with you. I mean, I think that's a valid point, though, that both you guys bring up that I don't think a lot of readers think about. Uh, you do, but you don't, I think, in a sense, because with trad published books, you get all of this hype mail, right? You get all these arcs, you get all these big influencers that read it, and they're like, this is the best series I've ever read. You need to read it. And now that I am also an influencer and reader, I'm like, did you actually read that book? Because I don't think you did. I,
yeah.
Did
I
we
think
read
you're
the
just
same book?
I think you're just hyping that up. And I think that is another advantage that trad has over indie because let's be very honest and very real, and I'll be feral. If someone sends me a physical book, especially if it has sprayed edges, you can bet your bottom dollar you will never hear me say something negative about that book on social media ever in my life. It's fantastic. It was the best book I ever read my whole life because I want to keep getting book mail. I want to keep getting the opportunity to receive gifts like that. So I think that the trad published world has figured that out, and I think that's another reason why they do send out so many physical copies, because if you have 100 people saying, I love this book so much, it's the best book, go read it, even if it's trash, um
Yeah.
you build that hype up, whereas indies don't necessarily have that luxury. But now you're starting to see the divide, especially on threads, where people won't take the referral from an influencer for that exact reason,
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Yeah.
like, did you even read it? Yes, I did. I can tell you all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even for me, like I try to keep my social media kind of free from the negative, right? Like if
Right.
I
Same.
didn't enjoy a book, you're not going to see me go on there and post a 1 star
Yeah. No.
for a book and explain why it sucked to me. Like
Right.
I don't do that.
That's so mean. Oh my
I
gosh. And
know.
I
I'm
know
not, but
people who do that. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
so
yeah,
mean. And then
Yep.
they try
I've
to
seen
tag the
that.
author in it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
why?
yeah, no.
No.
If I like, there's been times where I have posted, oh, I'm arc reading for this, or I have it included in like a collage of
Mm-hmm.
different books that I'm arc reading, and you may never see a review on that book. And
Right.
it could be that it just necessarily wasn't for me. It wasn't
Right.
probably a bad book, but there's no reason for me to trash it because what I may not like doesn't
Yeah.
mean you may not like that. And I actually had a
Exactly.
whole conversation with a girl on social media the other day because she was talking about if you arc read for a book, would you tell the author if you just didn't like it? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard because these third party influencer programs usually say, obviously, if you didn't like a book, don't tag the author in it. Don't, if you, we want your honesty, but don't tell them. So you kind of have this feeling of like, well, I don't want to tell you I didn't like it because I don't know if that's something I'm allowed to do. And at the same time, I don't want my influence to change your outcome of your book because you wrote it because it was special to you. And just because I didn't care for it doesn't mean that this person's not going to care for it. And I don't feel like I should be providing influence on that because I feel like if you change it based off of something that I said or that other people told you, it's no longer true to you.
Yep. And that's the part that a lot of people miss because as an influencer, I have 15 point almost 6,000 on TikTok and almost 9,000 on Instagram. Do you know how many people have come to me and said, I bought that book because you said, like, you recommended it and I loved it. And those have also come off of books that I would not personally recommend, but I got on there and I said, if these are your tropes, you will absolutely love this book. Right. And that's the power of influence, right? Because if you go on social media and you're like, hey, I love this book. It's a 5-star read. Go out and buy this book. It's fantastic. People will go and trust your opinion blind. But if you go on there and do the complete opposite, and this book is trash, it was awful. I don't know why they keep getting called darling. Why are they in the mines so much? You're going to dissuade people from that book. Whereas you guys, I don't know if you guys loved ACOTAR or not, but let's say you guys did and you can't wait for 6 and 7. That's fantastic. I hated it. I won't be buying 6 and 7, but that's okay because that's something that you guys like. And there's no reason why I should be dissuading you to read a book that you would like. So I think there's a very tasteful way to go on with social media and leave a review if you're obligated to, in a sense of like, if someone sends you a book, a physical book, not an ebook per se, but a physical book, there is absolutely a way to go on there and still influence somebody to purchase the book without being negative. Hey, Correct. If you love teal cups with white stickers that are the size of the cup, you will love this one. Go grab it,
Yeah.
It's just, it irritates my soul when people are like, they missed a period on page 4. I can't believe it.
Yeah, like that docks a star. That's like, done.
They did. Like I didn't get that.
Well, it's my brain doesn't pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't think I see anything like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But
I've seen people go on and they've done like, oh, do you see the dash? That means it was written by AI. And I'm like, no, it doesn't mean it was written by AI. It's like, it's an editing thing. Like, exactly. I'm not saying they didn't, I don't really know if they did use AI or not, but I'm saying we shouldn't be going on social media and blasting an author we have no proof that they did use it on, especially indie authors. Just because a dash was in there, that's part of grammar. There's editing in there. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yep, I hate it so much because I talk about it all the time. We have the influencer team, and I love our influencers so much. And I love that whenever they feel like something happens, they come to me and they're like, hey, I think that AI might be used. And I will always follow up with, can you give me some examples? Can you send me some examples? Because I don't want to support an author that uses AI in their writing. And I don't want my brand to be associated with AI in any way. So, they'll send me over the examples and sometimes we get that, right? It'll be a sentence that was like double typed. I'm like, do you know how many times I've done that? Because I've been trying to change a sentence. Like, I don't think that's AI. Or there'll be an M dash. And I'm like, okay, respectfully, this author's 56 years old. We were taught M dashes back then. I'm 36. So, it very well could be a grammar thing. Thank you for bringing it to me first. I don't know if this is AI or not, but I'm leaning more toward no. But then you get other people that don't care. They'll just go straight on a warpath. If you go to an author and you say, oh, you used AI, and it blows up because it's a very controversial thing, we don't want someone using AI. So you have now permanently stained their brand. And unless they go under a completely different pen name and restart everything from scratch, there's no amount of sorries that you can say to somebody to make it right after you've made that much of a detrimental accusation. And that's why I do understand the dislike toward AI. I do understand that we don't want to do that, but I also understand that you have to be very cautious in the way that you move in accusing somebody of AI because of the damage that can come from that. And I don't think that people logically make that connection of, if I accuse this person of using AI in a public platform, people may look at my word, blow that up, and now if that person had never used AI, my own personal brand is damaged because I just accused somebody of something that wasn't true. But now also an author who might have had a very large following is no longer supported because of my accusation. I don't think people put that together,
Right.
personally.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to be careful about that kind of thing because, especially something like AI, because so many people obviously are going to push against it. So,
Yeah.
and they may not get the message that they're good. They didn't use AI. So they're just
Right.
gonna, oh, well, I'm unfollowing. I'm going to never support their stuff. I'm gonna throw their
Mm-hmm.
stuff in the trash. It genuinely puts a bad name out there for that person.
Yeah.
So it's like if you are going to accuse them of something like using AI, you better be certain, like
Yep.
very certain. And
100%.
and I think it's good that you do that. You're like, okay, I need the proof.
Yeah.
And because I get it. It's like I don't want to support that, but
Right.
I also don't want to accuse them of something that
Mm-hmm.
could ruin them if they're not actually doing that.
Yeah. And so I have 15 years of leadership experience, and I am very used to having uncomfortable conversations. And whenever you're a supervisor, you have to do a lot of confronting of various things. So is it uncomfortable to go to an author and say, hey, I have some concerns? Yeah. Is it anything I ever want to do? No. But have I done it? Yes. And sometimes they are honest and they say, hey, yeah, I did. And I'm like, okay, respectfully, I have to pull out and I'm really sorry, but you signed a contract saying that you didn't use AI and now you did. And I will never, ever reveal who those people are because that is not my business and not everybody else's. But then, I do have to go back to the influencer team and say, hey, moving forward or not moving forward with this book. But then I have other people that are like, no, I did not use AI. I'm like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I know you
Yeah.
did. I know you did. Um, and that's an uncomfortable conversation because then I have to tell them that their contract is voided and I can't move forward. So, and then there's other people that have the absolute proof. They're like, yep, here's XYZ. I'm like, I don't need all the extras. I'm just going to go back to that person and state that, yes, I did my fact checking and no, it's not AI. And let's continue to move forward. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, and not to Twitter or to Threads or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Reddit or all the other freaking media platforms out there.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
like I'm gonna have
lot.
a conversation with you person to person.
Right. Yeah, call me up. I'll answer. What's up?
Well, my last question was, is there anything we haven't asked that you really want the listeners to know? Or did we
Um,
cover it?
that when it comes to the influencer team, it is international. We don't put parameters around that. We do ship out also our PR packages to international. We just shipped out packages yesterday. One went to Canada and one went to the UK. So we do ship out international, not near as often as the US because one package to the UK was almost $40 for one book. So the Indie Author Insider, we are always accepting. We don't care how big or small your platform is, just not to use AI. We don't support AI. It is open internationally. If you want to be on our podcast, you're welcome to. All you have to do is sign up for it. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's just with me, you're going to get honesty. I will still be kind and I will still be respectful, but I'm not here to butter your toast and to make you feel warm and fuzzy all the time. So I will give you my honest answers, my honest feedback on things. But I also want to see you grow. I want to see your small book talk account go to just absolutely overflowing in abundance of love. I want to create a community. That's our goal, is to create a community. I want to educate how we can get into different bookish spaces, how you become an influencer, how you get book mail. So there's a lot of new things that are coming out with Indie Author Insider. And I think it's going to be a really great time. I know there are things that separate us from other PR companies, and I cannot wait to reveal some of those pieces that are coming down the line. It'll probably be the fall because that's after I'll have my surgery. But yeah, we're in store for some really great things, and just be patient with us while we have our baby growing pains. But once we do, just know we're going to hit the ground running, and we don't have a parachute. So
You don't need one.
yeah.
I like that. That's funny. So yeah, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yep. So for on TikTok, we are at the Indie Author Growth Lab. We're a little bit of a mixed bag because this wasn't ever expected. So we do have the Indie Author Insider on TikTok, but there's not really anything posted on there just yet. On Instagram, we are at See Me Read Right Now. The letter C, M-E, Read, W-R-I-T-E now. And then we also have an Indie Author Insider on Instagram, but we don't really post on it just yet. And then we have our podcast, which is on all streaming platforms, which is the Indie Author Insider podcast. And that's shoptheindyauthorincider.com is where our store is.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll make sure we put all of that in the show notes. So everybody who wants to go check it out, you guys make sure to look at that because you'll be able to find all that information there. So yes. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun.
Yes.
We'll definitely want to come on yours sometime, and we'll get the switch going. And that means Amanda and I will be on the other side. So it will be different for us.
100%. No, thank you. I really appreciate it. This has actually been fun. I actually like being the interviewee. You know, I love being the interviewer, but I'm like, this is way less pressure.
It's so different. I know. Great. Well, Amanda, is there anything else you want to add before we end the episode?
No, but we love you guys.
We do. So if you guys are not already, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit the bell so you know when the next episode is coming out. Make sure you guys hit subscribe for anywhere you're listening to us. If you're not following us already, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And other than that, I guess we will see you guys on the next episode. Thanks again, Candace, for joining us. We will see you guys all later. Bye.